Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I want you to stop what you're doing for the next few minutes because what I'm about to share with you could genuinely change the way you walk, the way you stand, and the way you feel in your own body. Here is something most people never hear until it is too late. Your legs do not suddenly become weak one day because of age alone. They weaken first because the body is losing muscle, blood flow, recovery capacity, and nutritional support in the exact area that carries you through life. And if no one tells you what to feed that system, you can be doing your best and still feel your strength slipping away. That is the bad news. The good news is that leg strength is not just about exercise. It is also about what you put on your plate every single day. I am Dr. Patrick, and today I'm going to give you 6 specific foods that can help support stronger legs naturally. We are going to count them down from number 6 to number 1, from highly effective to absolutely essential. And by the time we reach the top of this list, you may look at your kitchen very differently. Now, before we begin, I want you to hear this clearly. Lower body muscle strength is one of the strongest predictors of mobility and independence as we get older. In other words, when the legs begin to go, everything else in life becomes harder. Standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, walking across a parking lot, catching yourself before a fall. Even confidence begins to disappear because once you stop trusting your legs, you stop trusting your freedom. And I want to tell you something else. The number 1 food on this list is not exotic. It is not expensive. It is not some trendy powder from the internet. In fact, many people already have it in their kitchen and still underestimate what it can do for inflammation, muscle protection, and long-term strength. I'm going to save that one for last. But first, I want to ask you something personal. Leave a comment below and tell me how old you are and whether your legs have felt weaker, heavier, stiffer, or less steady than they used to. Maybe stairs feel different now. Maybe getting out of bed takes a moment. Maybe you've had a near fall that shook your confidence. Share it below because your comment may be the exact reason someone else watches this video and realizes they need to act now, not later. Now let's begin. Coming in at number 6, eggs. Yes, eggs. For years, people were taught to fear them, avoid them, separate the yolk, throw half of the nutrition in the trash, and then wonder why they feel weaker with time. But when it comes to aging muscle, eggs are one of the most efficient foods you can eat. Here is why. Your leg muscles are constantly being broken down and rebuilt. That rebuilding process depends heavily on amino acids, especially one called leucine. Leucine acts like a trigger. It tells the body, rebuild this tissue, repair these fibers, preserve this muscle. And as we age, the body becomes less responsive to small protein signals. That means older muscles often need a stronger nutritional push than younger muscles do. Eggs help provide that push. They deliver high-quality protein in a form the body can actually use, and they do it in a compact, affordable, easy-to-digest package. But that is only part of the story. The yolk contains important nutrients like choline, vitamin D, and healthy fats that support cell function, nerve signaling, and overall muscle health. In plain English, eggs do not just feed the muscles. They help support the system that allows those muscles to contract, recover, and respond. And I have seen this many times. People focus on eating less fat, less protein, less everything, and then they wonder why their legs feel like they have no power. The body cannot build strength out of restriction. It needs raw materials. If you want to use eggs well, aim for 2 whole eggs, especially earlier in the day, and please do not fear the yolk. For most people, that is where much of the value is. Now let's move to number 5, wild-caught salmon. If your legs feel sore, heavy, slow to recover, or they cramp more than they used to, there is a good chance inflammation is part of the picture. Not always dramatic inflammation, not the kind that screams, the quiet kind, the slow, persistent kind that builds in the background and gradually makes muscles less responsive, less resilient, and more fatigued. That is where salmon becomes powerful. Wild-caught salmon is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA. These fats help support the body's response to inflammation, and that matters more than most people realize. When inflammation stays elevated for too long, muscle recovery suffers, physical performance suffers, even walking speed and mobility can begin to decline over time. Omega-3 rich foods help create a better internal environment for the muscles to function. And salmon brings another benefit that matters tremendously for the legs: vitamin D. Many adults, especially older adults, are low in vitamin D, and that deficiency has been linked to muscle weakness and poorer physical function. So when you eat salmon, you are not just eating protein. You are supporting muscle tissue, recovery, and a nutrient status that plays a role in strength and balance. This is one of the foods I tell people to think of as maintenance medicine from nature. Not because it works overnight, but because when used consistently, it changes the terrain inside the body. Try to get salmon into your routine 2 or 3 times a week if you can. Baked, grilled, gently cooked. Keep it simple. Your legs do not care about fancy recipes, they care about consistency. Now, number 4, spinach and dark leafy greens. This is where a lot of people underestimate the power of food because greens look too ordinary to be transformational. But do not let their simplicity fool you. Dark leafy greens, such as spinach, arugula, kale, and Swiss chard, contain natural dietary nitrates. Once those compounds move through the body, they can help support nitric oxide production, and nitric oxide plays a major role in blood flow. Why does that matter for your legs? Because your leg muscles are large, hard-working tissues. They need oxygen, they need nutrients, they need circulation. And with age, the efficiency of that delivery system often declines. When blood flow is not as effective, the legs can fatigue faster, recover slower, and feel weaker even when you are trying to stay active. Nitrate-rich vegetables help support that circulation. And there is more. Dark leafy greens also bring magnesium, vitamin K, folate, and other compounds that support muscle function, nerve signaling, and recovery. Magnesium alone matters enormously. When people tell me their calves tighten at night, their legs twitch, or their muscles feel overly tense, magnesium is often part of that conversation. Spinach, especially cooked spinach, is one of the simplest ways to bring more of that support into your body. Here is my advice. Do not think of greens as decoration. Think of them as therapy. A real serving, daily if possible, sautéed in a healthy fat or added to a meal you already enjoy. That is how you make healthy eating work in real life. And right here, before we go to the top 3, if this is already helping you, hit that like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Every week, I share practical, evidence-based health information designed to help you stay strong, independent, and in control of your life. And if you know someone whose legs have started to weaken, someone who seems less steady, less active, less confident, share this video with them. It could make a real difference. Now, number 3, Greek yogurt. Most people think of Greek yogurt as a snack. I want you to start thinking of it as a strategic muscle food. Greek yogurt is higher in protein than regular yogurt, and that matters because one of the biggest nutritional mistakes people make as they age is under-eating protein. They may still be eating enough calories, but not enough of the building blocks the body needs to maintain lean mass. Greek yogurt helps fix that. It gives you a dense, practical source of protein without requiring heavy preparation, and for many people, it is easier to eat consistently than a large piece of meat or a complicated meal. But what makes it especially useful is not just the protein content. It is the combination of protein, calcium, and beneficial cultures in one convenient food. Those live cultures support the gut, and the gut matters more to muscle health than most people realize. If digestion is poor, if absorption is poor, if the body is not processing nutrients efficiently, then even a decent diet may not deliver the full benefit you think it should. Greek yogurt supports both nourishment and usability, and for people whose appetite is lower than it used to be, this matters a lot. Sometimes the best muscle-supportive food is not the one that sounds most impressive. It is the one you will actually eat regularly. Choose plain Greek yogurt when possible. Full-fat or lower sugar options are often better than sweetened versions loaded with added sugar. If you want to make it stronger nutritionally, add berries, ground flaxseed, chopped nuts, or even a little cinnamon. Simple, powerful, repeatable. Now we are entering the top 2, and this is where things get really interesting. Number 2, beets. I know, some of you did not expect that. But beets deserve your attention, especially if you care about stamina, circulation, and the feeling of energy in your legs. Beets are one of the richest natural sources of dietary nitrates. Just like the leafy greens we discussed, they help support nitric oxide production, but in a more concentrated way. That means better support for blood vessel relaxation and better blood delivery to working muscle. If you have ever felt like your legs tire too quickly, like they run out of gas before the rest of you does, circulation may be part of the reason. Your muscles are only as good as the oxygen and nutrients reaching them. Beets help support that delivery. But there is another reason I like them. They support performance in a way people can actually feel. Not in the sense of becoming superhuman overnight, but in the sense of walking with a little more ease, tolerating activity a little better, and recovering a little more efficiently. And when that improvement compounds over time, it becomes meaningful. One of the biggest tragedies of aging is not just muscle loss, it is the gradual shrinking of daily life. You walk less because your legs feel weak, then the legs weaken more because you walk less. It becomes a cycle. Foods like beets can help support the physiology that makes movement feel more possible again. Roasted beets, beet salad, blended beet smoothies, even adding them a few times a week can be a smart move. And if you pair them with a source of protein, even better. Now we are at number 1, the food that most people completely underestimate. The food that can support inflammation control, nutrient absorption, and the overall environment your muscles live in. The food I told you about at the beginning, extra virgin olive oil. Yes, extra virgin olive oil, not vegetable oil, not highly processed seed oil blends. Extra virgin olive oil. Here is why it matters so much. Muscle strength is not only about protein, it is also about the environment surrounding the muscle. Is the body inflamed? Is oxidative stress high? Are you absorbing fat-soluble nutrients properly? Are your cells being supported or constantly irritated? Extra virgin olive oil helps answer those questions in your favor. It contains beneficial polyphenols, natural compounds that have been studied for their role in supporting the body's defenses against oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. And that matters because chronic inflammation does not only affect the heart or the joints, it affects the muscles too. It changes how well they recover, how efficiently they function, and how protected they are over time. But olive oil does something else that makes it unique on this list. It makes other foods on this list work better. The fat in extra virgin olive oil helps your body absorb fat-soluble nutrients from foods like spinach, eggs, and salmon more effectively. So when you drizzle olive oil over vegetables or use it with eggs or pair it with a nutrient-dense meal, you are not just adding flavor. You are improving the nutritional efficiency of the entire plate. That is why I call it a force multiplier. And quality matters. Real extra virgin olive oil should taste alive, slightly grassy, sometimes peppery, rich but clean. Store it properly. Use it regularly. Drizzle it over vegetables, fish, eggs, beans. Let it become part of your daily routine, not something you save for special occasions. Because the truth is, these 6 foods are not random. They work together. Eggs give you muscle-building protein and key nutrients. Salmon supports recovery, inflammation balance, and vitamin D status. Leafy greens help support blood flow and mineral intake. Greek yogurt adds practical protein and digestive support. Beets support circulation and exercise tolerance. And extra virgin olive oil helps create the internal environment where all of it works better. That is not a list, that is a system. And now I want to bring this home for you. You were not meant to spend the strongest years you still have left wondering if your legs are going to hold you. You were not meant to plan your life around railings, chairs, elevators, and fear. You were not meant to sit out the walk, skip the trip, avoid the stairs, or hesitate every time the ground feels uneven. Yes, aging is real. Yes, muscle loss is real. Yes, recovery changes with time, but decline is not something you are required to surrender to without a fight. Your body still responds. Your muscles still listen. Your legs still have the ability to become better supported than they are right now. And sometimes the next step is not complicated. Sometimes it starts with what you buy, what you cook, what you stop fearing, and what you begin repeating consistently. So starting with your very next meal, ask yourself a simple question. Am I feeding weakness or am I feeding strength? Because strength does not appear by accident. It is built, meal by meal, day by day, choice by choice. Eggs, wild-caught salmon, dark leafy greens, Greek yogurt, beets, extra virgin olive oil. 6 foods. 1 mission. Stronger legs, better movement, more confidence, more freedom. If you are not yet subscribed, subscribe now. And in the comments below, tell me which of these 6 foods you are going to start with first. I want to know what your legs have been feeling like, what changes you have noticed, and what you are committed to doing next. I read those comments, and this community grows stronger every time someone decides they are not done fighting for their health. Until next time, eat with purpose, move every day, and never forget this. Your best years are not necessarily behind you, but stronger legs may determine whether you get to enjoy the years ahead.